I shot and killed someone in self-defense. Reddit ask me anything. At the time, I was in a long distance, about 4 hours away, relationship and I was traveling to see her. I stopped at a gas station near her house at about 10 PM to get drinks and snacks for us to watch movies all night. I parked at one of the pumps. Even though I want filling up, this really large homeless man approached me from the side of the building and told me he just needed $20 so he could get a hotel for the night. He said his wife had cheated on him and kicked him out and he didn't want to spend the night on the street. I told him no because I needed to save my money since I was so far from home. He was muttering to himself about how I was lying. I just didn't want to help a black man, etc. When I walked into the store he screamed something at me. In the store I just got 2 drinks and some chips. Even though I was planning to get more, I just wanted to be really quick. When I came back out I didn't see him, so I thought he wandered off. I quickly hurried to my car and I felt like someone was behind me. I turned around and he swung a machete at me. I managed to move away somehow and dropped the bag I was carrying. I was pulling up my shirt to get my gun. IWB carry, and he was walking towards me with a horrible look on his face. I'll never forget that look. I got my gun out and screamed something at him. That was a combination of get away and drop it. It just sounded like complete gibberish. He lunged at me with it and reared back to swing again, and I shot him until the gun was empty. I called 911, but I couldn't make out anything the operator was saying. I just told them that I shot someone who was coming at me and the name of the gas station I was at. Within a minute every cop in the city was at the gas station. I was detained and interviewed at the scene and they took my gun into evidence. They released me and asked me to come into the station the next morning, literally in like 8 hours, for an interview. I went and they told me they'd call me if there were any updates. They decided not to press charges. Ask me anything. How often does the event play on your mind? As it's a pretty heavy thing to deal with. For the first week I was constantly replaying the incident because of how close I was to death. As of now I just face constant depression and self-deprecation because I feel like a piece of crap for not feeling guilty. I know I should constantly think about him and about how I took his life. I took away his future and all has ever done. Someone had to tell his mom and dad that their son had died. But I don't feel guilty about that because I always tell myself that he tried to kill me. I feel like shit for not feeling like crap. You took away his future, which probably involved at least one murder and maybe more. You may have saved more than your life. Who knows how many you did save. Op, please this comment. Whenever you feel down. I always feel down. I feel like it's a horrible thing to do to try and spin this into a good thing. I feel like I'm an butthole for not caring about the negative. It doesn't help that I've been an butthole to everyone my whole life for no reason. I haven't had a friend since I was in middle school because people avoid me, and now there's even more reason. How did your girlfriend deal with it? When she first heard, she was very supportive. She's pro-gun and knew I had one, so that wasn't an issue. We ended up fighting about it later. She kept bringing it up and I kept asking her not to. We ended up fighting a lot after that and we broke up. What kind of gun do you carry and how long did it take for them officially say they weren't pressing charges? At the time I carried a Glock 43. I carry a 19C now. The DA announced they weren't pursuing charges in about 2 weeks. There was a mountain of evidence that it was a good shoot. Had you ever used it before aside for practice? Were there surveillance cameras at the gas station? I shot at the range somewhat regularly. There were cameras. Have you watched the footage? It may reinforce that it was 100% self-defense and you shouldn't feel guilty about not feeling guilty. The police showed it to me. It was 100% self-defense and I still feel like a shell. Did you go to therapy afterwards? I can only imagine just how bad that stuck with you. I never did. I don't want to be diagnosed with something and suddenly be a huge worry for everyone. Just because you're not diagnosed with something doesn't mean the diagnosis isn't there. I don't care. The last thing I need is someone telling me I have a problem and taking away my only means for defense. My family has never treated me the same. Everything worries them. If I'm 10 minutes late to a family meeting, they think I've run off and hurt myself. If they see me drink one beer they think I've turned to alcohol. I probably go through 1 6-pack of beer a month, no liquor. If I get diagnosed with something it'll be 100x worse. Not telling you how to live, just want to share. A good therapist will work on what you're feeling and how to put it to rest. Unless you really are a danger to yourself and others, it's not their priority to slap a diagnosis on you. It doesn't sound like you're in danger of them forcing you into an inpatient stay, and without that, I don't believe there's any risk of your CCW being revoked or future purchases being restricted. So did they give your gun back? And if so, how long did it take to get it back? In 2 weeks, when it was announced I wouldn't face charges. Do you still own it? I keep it in my car. I don't think I'll ever sell it. Why don't you keep it on your side like before? I keep the 19 on my side now. Has the incident made you more wary of people approaching you? Yes. I don't go anywhere at night anymore besides drive-thrus. I don't go inside gas stations at all anymore. I'm convinced that muggers go to gas stations and just wait for people to walk in and ambush them. I'm always afraid of being ambushed at night, and sometimes during the day. I'm constantly watching everywhere. A lot of people have mentioned that I'm constantly looking around, like I have anxiety or something. People wearing hoods freak me out, even though the guy I shot didn't have one. What about the man who came at you? Did he have any family that tried to pursue you, or any explanation of why he came at you like that? I never heard anything. A bit said he had an ex-wife and 2 kids. How did it feel once knowing you took his life, or was it all a blur from that point on? I didn't know he died until the next day during my interview. I didn't feel any different than I had initially. Why do you think you're supposed to feel bad? Because someone died from your actions? Animals all have a will to live, and if necessary also at the cost of other animals' lives. That's the way things go. Animals attack, animals defend, animals die, animals live. We're animals. You should feel lucky, because what alternative did you have? Or then this whole ask me anything wouldn't exist. But that's just the rational side. Emotionally I can totally get how this can mess with you. I appreciate the support. I just feel like I should feel something. I should sympathize with him. He was clearly homeless. Who knows what he could been going through. My dad said I should forgive him, because that will bring me peace. But I don't duck him. How many rounds hit him, and where? 4 out of 7 shots hit him at literally just about point blank. They were all chest area. I don't think I even looked down the sights. In the camera footage I was shooting one-handed, and I've always trained with both hands. Did you have a lawyer present for either interview? If not, was there any conversation with the interviewing officers about having a defense attorney present? I didn't, even though they told me I could have won. I just wanted it over with. You mentioned in a comment that after the event you and your girlfriend argued about things. What things? Everything and anything. Even small things. The shots that missed, did you ever track down where they went? I wasn't firing towards the building, so they likely landed in the grass hill next to it. If you could go back, would you change how you reacted? I would have never gone to the gas station. What do you think of red flag laws? Ducking retarded. That's the reason I don't want to see a therapist. Even if they don't have the means to diagnose me with something, I feel like they would actively try to get the police to take my firearms and Baker Act me. What was the first thing you did after the whole incident? Did you go home and sleep, or did you talk to your girlfriend all night about it? Or did you go for a meal? After I was cleared I went to my girlfriend's house and sat there as she cried and held me. She went to sleep and I stayed up all night. I hate to be that guy, but since he happened to be black, do you now find yourself racial profiling from PTSD? What is your honest opinion of the police always being accused of racial profiling? No. The police are accused of racial profiling BC of history. I think it's less common today, but if I was a cop in the same situation, race would constantly be brought up in the discussion. Can you describe the look on his face that you can't forget? Like a savage beast. Was your name publicly released? Just wondering if it was. How that's impacted you? Did people attack you for it? My name was released. Some people messaged me on Facebook asking me about it. I got some requests for interviews. Why did you shoot him until the gun was empty? Why didn't you just shoot him once or twice? He didn't stop after once or twice. In my country you would be prosecuted and put to jail for self-defense. And you're not allowed to have any gun. Would love to live there so much. Not only because of that OFC. Stay strong bro. Everyone says that. I don't believe it.